Kia ora, hello, I'm Philip Duncan with your Easter weekend outlook and the start of next week, and this covers both New Zealand and Australia. So we've now finally seen the end of the cyclone passing by. Now we're left over with high pressure and just a little bit of cloud lingering along the eastern coastline here, but mostly it's moving away. In fact, on the satellite map, this is fairly out here, moving away fairly quickly past the Chatham Islands. There is a bit of wind and rain there, but it's just another day in the office for the Chatham Islands, to be honest. And then over here around Adelaide, there's a cold front just moving through. There's quite a big, powerful high pressure zone coming in behind that. So we've got a couple of big highs on the map, and the main one that you can see right here out in the Tasman Sea departing New South Wales. This is going to help bring in a mostly settled and dry weekend for New Zealand, but there are a couple of disturbances, one to the north, another low pressure zone, not a cyclone, don't worry, and the other one is a storm down in the Southern Ocean. It's a long way from us, and it's just going to clip the lower South Island on Saturday. Nothing too major, but worth pointing out. But the storm here is still quite significant on the map, thankfully moving away. I saw on the news last night some of the flooding around Gisborne, or just north of Gisborne. It was pretty significant. So even though it was very localised, thank goodness it was very localised, it was a bit of a taster, a teaser of what the storm could have done if it had just tracked a little bit further south. Just a little bit could have made quite a significant difference to flooding over there on the East Cape. But now it's moving away, and it's taking with it most of that rain. In fact, all of that rain is going by probably the time you're watching this video. So to the north here on Good Friday, that is that low pressure zone we're keeping an eye on, but it's a long way off from New Zealand just yet. New Zealand on Good Friday is looking pretty good. The weather is actually looking very settled. The blue that you see, the pale blue on the map, very bottom of the scale, 0.2 millimetres. So that means it might be a little bit cloudy, and there might be an isolated shower. Otherwise, there's nothing much to talk about. And that low pressure zone's encouraging showers along the eastern side of Australia, mostly just coastal from about Sydney northwards, and of course that cold front in there around Adelaide. As we go into Saturday, that front falls apart over Adelaide, maybe a couple of showers coming in around Melbourne and Tasmania, but the high pressure zone's the dominant feature, so any showers over here are going to be pretty light. To the north, the low is trying to get going, it's getting better organised. When we say that, it means it's slowly developing a more perfect look to it, you know, getting that circular shape to it. So that is gradually happening up there. Like I say, not a storm. And then down here, we've got a couple of showers lingering, but really the main feature on Saturday is that storm down in the Southern Ocean, 963 hectopascals, and that's enough to drive in some windy weather, gale force winds in some places around Stewart Island, coastal parts of Southland, temperature drop, some showers, which I'm sure you'll be happy with, and then that weather also goes up into Otago, Dunedin, getting it as well. So the wind on Saturday, pretty blustery around the South Island, these areas around the Southern Alps, but more importantly down here around Southland and Stewart Island, gusts 80, 90 kilometres an hour in exposed areas. So that's a windy Saturday down there, and also the usual Cook Strait area, pretty blustery around Wellington and Waited Upper, depends on where you are, but similar wind speeds, 70, 80, 90 k's an hour, that's on Saturday, but it is dry around that Wellington area. So rainfall wise, as you can see, only a couple of showers in the hills there, but really this is the area with the heaviest rain. So Fiordland National Park gets some rain, talking about 50 millimetres or so, but for Southland and Drought, you're only talking about 5 to 10 millimetres, if that. So don't get too excited, but on top of the couple of weeks worth of rain you've had, this will be welcome, I'm sure, for those of you in drought. As we move through into Easter Sunday, you see what we mean about that low getting better organised. It's now got the circular shape to it. That means with the big high pressure zone further south, the northeasterly winds will pick up, and they'll become a bit blustery around parts of Northland and maybe even Auckland. Whangaparoa, for example, could be a bit windy, maybe even getting gusts close to gale force. That's not too problematic, but it just shows you the weather's not that great. Certainly not good for going out on the water. And we'll be seeing a bit of rain, but most of it is only really brushing the far north. Only a couple of showers lingering around the country elsewhere, and a couple of showers lingering also along that eastern side of Australia. So that is Easter Sunday. And the rain in the top of the country, you're just seeing here around the Bay of Islands, or north of the Bay of Islands, getting up to around the far north even. That area here getting around 45 millimetres at this stage, because that low might move in a little bit closer, and therefore those rain totals lift up all the way down to Auckland. But just like we saw with Philae, it only takes a little bit of a movement further off the map and suddenly that rain, it zips and disappears off the screen. So borderline, very borderline, but there is a chance of rain on Sunday up here in the north, and it could come down as far south as Auckland and Coromandel, maybe just a bit cloudy with some showers. Now let's take a look at Monday. It's a similar setup. That low's got a little bit deeper. So the rain clouds now are moving down Northland, and Coromandel and Auckland are right on the edge of it. So it'll be a little bit windy on Monday, a little bit wet maybe in the north. But again, just like we saw with Cyclone Philae, it depends on exactly the centre of where that low will go. Not that this is a cyclone or a storm, but with the high pressure belt over here so strong, pushing back against it means that the squash zone, this area here, where the air pressure gets squeezed together, means that those northeasterlies will become blustery. And so that could be quite a windy day in some areas with a bit of rain. But tomorrow's update might move it all. So keep up to date with those hourly forecasts we've got at weatherwatch.co.nz and over at ruralweather.co.nz. And our final map is for Tuesday next week. And again, it shows that low, 10-12, not very deep, borderline even being low pressure, and a bit of wet weather up there. We're talking another 20-30 millimetres. We will see how that pans out. The hourly forecast we have at Weatherwatch and Rural Weather are the most accurate rain updates in the country, and so that will be able to tell you the number, the rainfall number and the percentage, the chance of rain expected around this Sunday and Monday and Tuesday maybe as well around the top of New Zealand. Otherwise, most places are looking pretty dry and settled across the weekend. That is all from me. I'm away obviously for the next few days. I've got Tuesday off too. So I'll see you again on Wednesday next week with our next weather video. Luckily the weather is looking pretty quiet. We'll also have our news stories over at Weatherwatch and Rural Weather. So if you want to keep up to date with this low pressure to the north and the other one down to the south, we'll have plenty of maps and news stories on those websites across the weekend. Have a great weekend. We'll see you next Wednesday.